Joining me now is cannabis educator and author of the book, Keeping It Raw, Miss Teddi. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Doing well. So we've been so happy to watch your films every week on the show. Today we're talking about sexuality and intimacy. And I know that that's an area that you have some knowledge with cannabis. So,
Yes.
so how can cannabis help enhance sexuality and intimacy?
Um, a lot of it has to do with the way the terpenes work with your individual CB1 and CB2 receptors. We have found in studies that it is easier to be more sensual and express your sexuality when you aren't feeling pain or
Mm,
stress or a negative feeling. And so certain terpenes will take care of the pain or the stress. And once you take care of that bottom line, then you are able to move on and move forward to be able to uh, be sexual and
mhm.
do what feels comfortable for you.
Right. I think that's so true. Pain is definitely not an aphrodisiac in any way, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's emotional pain or physical pain,
Mhm.
right? So that makes perfect sense to me. Have you experienced that in your own life? Have you seen improvement using
Yes.
cannabis?
Yes. So being a survivor of first child rape from the neighbor next door, and then young adult date rapes and all through that. So when I got married, I did have a mental block
Mm,
with
mhm.
sex, how it was totally different
Sure.
with being married than with having to block out certain things that were going on when I was growing up. And I was talking to a gentleman at one of the dispensaries, and he told me that Bubba Kush worked for him very, very well.
Hmm.
And so I started looking into the Kush family and realized that there's a lot of the strains that are a Kush that actually enhance, because of the terpene profile, will enhance your libido by having your CB1 and CB2 receptors releasing that block that
Sure.
your body has made it hold. And so with those terpenes driving the THC where it needs to go, you're able to let loose and be more
Mhm.
comfortable with yourself. It
Right.
took me a while to learn that. I was very self-conscious.
Mhm.
And believe it or not, the right strain of cannabis actually can change the way you feel about yourself.
Wow, I
It
love
has a lot
that.
to do with all the different chemistry and
Mhm.
everything.
Yeah, I think, trauma, I often say, is the other pandemic. And unfortunately, and I'm so sorry for your experiences. And, unfortunately, there's just so much of it, and it affects our ability to relate to a partner, to open up, to feel comfortable with our bodies.
It really
Um,
does.
Mhm. So that's great that you were able to identify particular strains that can help with that. Uh,
Yeah, we found one here in New Mexico called Williams Wonder, and the genetics started dying down, and so it just kind of disappeared. And I've been Googling it and trying to find it, and it is just a very rare strain, but it is very high in myrcene.
mm,
So myrcene is the one that's going to keep you calm. It's an antispasmodic, so it just calms your nerves and lowers the stress level, and then it helps with pain as well and anxiety. So myrcene is a really good terpene to look into to help with your sexuality.
excellent. Now, what about the physical part of it? Does cannabis have a physical effect? A lot of companies now are selling CBD topicals for women to help with vaginal dryness or um, I believe, also to increase arousal. I'm not sure, but
Yes, they work well because we have so many fat lipids in our vaginal area that we accept and receive the THC and the CBD very well as women. As far as men, they don't have that vaginal lipids and fats, and that's how the THC and the CBD is absorbed. I used to have to take estrogen
Mm.
because after the surgery, the complete hysterectomy, I would have to take estrogen. And then as soon as I found out certain strains and started a heavy CBD regimen,
Hmm.
I no longer had to take that estrogen.
Wow,
So
because
that
the
made it,
estrogen can have some side effects too that aren't so desirable.
yes, exactly. It's just a pain to use the way they have you use it. It wasn't pill form. You had to use it vaginally. And
Hmm.
it wasn't something a woman would want to do every other day
Right.
to have a nice sexual experience with their mate or whoever. I would
Sure.
much rather load a bowl and drop some CBD and be on my way.
Right.
That's good
Right.
evening.
That's wonderful that you were able to move from that. Because taking hormones has all kinds of other things that you have to think about. Also,
Yes, most
besides that, it's
definitely.
not convenient and doesn't
Yeah.
feel that
Oh
great.
yeah,
You know.
exactly.
Do you have any advice for people if they're having difficulties with either arousal or they just aren't happy sexually and that where should they start with cannabis, I guess?
Well, the first one would probably be a lubricant because that will involve foreplay.
Hmm.
Reading the directions, checking it out, feeling how soft it is or the smell. And even just the foreplay and talking about it can cause arousal and open up discussion. And then I would start with the Kushes. Look into the strains that end in Kush, Bubba Kush, sweet and sour Kush. Anything that ends in Kush, it seems like is a really good start.
Nice.
So if you're, yeah, I always say go get your Kush on. So that
Get your kush on, I love it.
yeah, that seems to be a really good start.
Nice. Well, I know you always tell everyone where they can get in touch with you at Learn from Teddy. And I know you're also writing for weedspeak.com, and you wrote a great article about this. So I think if people could check out that article, that probably would be a way to learn more.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
we
And
did cover
Kim,
quite a bit in that article.
yes. And can people get in touch with you about this topic? Frequently, it's about food, which you're an expert in. Would it be all right if people reach out to you regarding this as well?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. They
Excellent.
can even reach out to me on the relevant app.
What is the vibe called again on Relevant?
It is called CBD Fun with Miss Teddi.
Excellent. Thanks so much for joining me, Miss Teddy.
Well, thank you.